you wrote a discourse about nothing. What does the word nothing mean to you? Do you even remember the discourse?
Definitions don't go anywhere. I vaguely remember, I think it was called a discourse about nothing.
About nothing, yes.
But I have no idea what it was about. I have no clue. I don't remember anything about the discourse, but I do remember the title.
It had something to do with us posting photos on Twitter and Instagram, and we're selling ourselves and all of that, and that to you is nothing. But as I read it, I started to think, is there something to the word nothing to you?
I would say that it's about seeing, once again, not forcing it upon yourself, but it's genuinely about seeing the emptiness of all things, and that nothing has any significance. The ultimate truth, which will benefit no human being except maybe one, and they probably aren't even listening to this podcast. The ultimate truth is that there is nothing. There is no greater truth than that, and no intellect in the world.
So rules don't matter.
Will ever be able to decipher that. No, nothing matters. No, there's nothing. Everything operates according to its own rhythm. Everything operates according to its own cause and effect. And any attempt to interrupt that rhythm, and any attempt to modify the effect that was naturally occurring by a particular cause, is a road to suffering, pain, anxiety, and failure. So it is about understanding things, and it is about seeing what the rhythms are and what the patterns are, instead of, a leaf rides on the surface of the river, and in doing so, it assumes the power of the river. See, that's intelligence. Mm-hmm. That's wisdom more than intelligence, and that's nature following its rhythms. So it isn't about, human beings have this hammer and nail and this brute force mentality, whereas wisdom is much more along the lines of a willow tree. It's really going with the wind, and it's really harnessing the wind as opposed to fighting it. I think that type of sensibility is one that arrives to truth.
And do you feel it if that one person, they're probably not listening to this podcast, if that one person is around you, do you feel that do you feel that sense of authenticity and sincerity when they're getting to that point?
Well, you don't have to get to that point. You can tell one's DNA by the things that they say. It's very, very, very rare to encounter a person with rare DNA. And I don't mean just that a person is really good at golf or very good at, there's many of those. But I'm talking about a person who is genuinely a rarity with regard to how he dissects things, how he views things, being completely opposite of the way everyone else does it. It's very rare to run into that. And when you do, it's exhilarating, because you have found a unicorn.
Have you met anybody lately who kind of had that impact on you?
No, I haven't. But what oftentimes happens is that someone will write something, and it will be promising that they might be that type of individual, and then a few paragraphs later, they'll sadly deflate. And if only they could have kept going, so to speak. If only it's sort of like reading a person who writes a book, and they write something, and you say, "Oh wow, this person may be going along the lines of truth," and then within a page, they sell their soul within a page. Well, here's the 5-step plan. I was just waiting for it. Right? As soon as you did that, you just fell, the roof caved in, the floor fell out, and everything went to hell. You were doing so well, right? You were showing such promise. You could have been the one. But then you sold out. You showed your true colors. And now you have removed yourself from as a candidate of the rare one. The people who tell the truth, the people who are like some of these ancient, very ancient, like Zen masters, who couldn't give 2 cents whether you understood, didn't understand, couldn't care less. They just spoke the truth. And that is something that quite frankly, it is beautiful. It would be to see someone like that and encounter them, because I could talk to them day and night.
I know you can.
That kind of person, but everyone's institutionalized by society, Mo.
And when you read, do you still read things from people like that?
I really don't read much anymore, but if I do pick up a book, yes, it is along the lines of some of those rare writings of, titles of a, the title of a book, which would almost sounds absurd. But those are the kind of things that if I am to read that I would pick up. But reading for me is, nothing reveals the truth. Believe me, if someone talked about the direct truth about things and didn't prescribe, I would read all their books. Believe me, I would. I would long for such things, but it just doesn't. You're just, I live in the wrong era, I guess.
Well, yeah, for sure. Right? You live in a different
I'm a little
era.
too late.
How about we leave it like that, right? You live in a different era.
Well, the things that I'm interested in, are so completely, way out there and so anti everything. This is like I look outside the window and I see this is just this plastic society in which I'm just been placed here in this purgatory, and it's like there's no sense of belonging to this. The music that I hear and the words that are spoken and the culture of sports and business and life and the neon lights and the news and the televisions and the radio. I don't listen to the television. I don't listen to the radio. I live this monk-like existence in the, like a hermit, staying away from everything. It's almost like it's almost like waterboarding in a way. It's you're placed into an environment to which you do not fundamentally and intrinsically belong.
But you still have to water the seeds that are your 2 young boys, because I know they're your pride and joy, right? Like, do you?
Those things those seeds get watered
By them just observing you?
I don't think it's about them observing anything. I'd say those seeds get watered when you yourself are genuinely and non-prescriptively on a search for truth about you and your own life. And if anything's going to get watered, it's going to get watered through sincerity and genuineness. It's not going to get watered through prescriptions and teaching and advice and all of these things.